Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Tom and this is part 5 of building a website using Python and Flask. And in the last video we talked a bit about templates. In this video we're going to expand on that using the language called Jinja, which is built into Flask and allows us to do some kind of cool stuff within the HTML documents themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you first how you can pass an individual variable into Flask. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put mark right there, and then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put name like this. All right. So what we've done here is we've told Flask that when we load this page, before you send that HTML page to the person requesting it, you are going to take this variable name and you are going to assign it the value mark, and it's going to be replaced inside here as mark. So really what it's doing is it's dynamically creating the web page by changing certain variables, which in our case is just one variable. And when we do that, we get this. It will greet us as we enter the site. All right, that's kind of neat, right? We can do a lot more with Jinja, so let's go ahead and test out some other stuff here. What I want to do is I'm going to create some random numbers here. So to create some random numbers, I am going to import random integer. And inside my function, I'm allowed to do whatever I want inside here. It doesn't matter as long as it's valid Python. So I'm going to call this lucky numbers. And instead of using a list comprehension and making this probably maybe a little complicated for people, I am going to do this. While lucky numbers is less than 5, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say lucky numbers dot append. Well, actually, nope, I need to do this first. Number equals random int. Let's give it between 1 and 99, okay? And if the number is not in the lucky numbers, then I'm going to append it. Okay. So all this is doing here is just gonna keep looping until I have 5 unique numbers. And if I want to go ahead and check this, I can do this here. It's perfectly legal to do this. And if I run this, you're going to see nothing changes. But if I come back over here, you'll see that it is going ahead and printing out those random numbers inside the console window or the terminal window. All right. Okay, so we're going to take these numbers now, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the name. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to pass in our numbers. So I'm going to say lucky numbers is equal to lucky numbers. And let me go ahead and shrink this down a little bit. Well, let me go ahead and change it like this. Name, lucky numbers. Well, must have perfect alignment, right? Okay, good. So I've got my lucky numbers, and it should work just fine. It should pass them in. Let's go ahead and try to print them out here. So let's say your lucky numbers are, and let's see what happens if I do this. All right. I do this, I run it. You're gonna notice that nothing actually prints out. It's not, oh, because I changed this to lucky numbers. There we go, lucky numbers. Yeah, there we go. Something prints out, but it's not really formatted well, just printing out exactly like it would look in a regular, at the prompt. The same thing, just the list with the numbers inside of it. All right, so I want to print this out a little bit nicer. I want these to be individual numbers, and I want them to be bold, let's say, or maybe even bigger. I want them to be nice and big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end that paragraph. And the cool thing about Jinja is you can do a lot of the same things you do in Python. Is you can, for example, make a loop. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to do a for each loop just like I would normally do in Python. And I'm going to say for number in lucky numbers. All right, so we have that. The unfortunate thing here, and maybe it's not unfortunate, but it can be a little bit annoying, is you have to actually put in where you're ending the loop. So I have to do this, end for here, all right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say number, all right? So that looks fine, right? For number and lucky numbers, I'm going to print out the number here. I'm gonna refresh this and I'm gonna get my lucky numbers just like that. Okay, looks good so far. Next thing I want to do is I want to kind of format this a little bit. I want to make my numbers a little bit larger. So let's go ahead and make it a bit bigger. So let's go ahead and put H2, H2, and I want to put a comma after each one. So let's go ahead and run this. And now you notice that I've made these headers. I'm going to get something that looks like this. Okay. Let me take off the comma. I don't really like that. Let's do this. Okay, but I want the numbers going from left to right. I want them to be a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and let's move the H2 up to here at the beginning of the loop and the end of the loop. Okay. So now if I run this, what I get is I get the numbers all in one line. And I could go ahead and I could change this to be maybe H1. If I want them to be much larger, there we go. All right, cool. So we've got a loop. It's going ahead and it's printing out all of our lucky numbers. But I want to do one more thing. And this is just so I can demonstrate this to you, is I want to make all of my odd numbers red and I want to leave all the even numbers black. Okay, so to do that, we can use an if statement just like we would in Python. Now, well, almost just like it. It works very much the same way here. You just do if number is number mod 2 does not equal 0, which means it's an odd number. I'm going to make this number red. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use a span. So let's say span, and let's say style is equal to color red. All right. And the thing is I'm going to need to say end if. Okay. So this is, right now this will only print out odd numbers. So if I run this, I'm going to get all odd numbers and they're only going to be red. I need to make an else statement here, which is done very much the same way, except you're just going to use the braces. So I go ahead and do an else, and I can copy this line down. And instead of having the span, which I don't need anymore because I want the color just to be black, I can run this. And if you do this, you're going to see that all of my even numbers are black, all of the odd numbers are red. All right, so you notice this works mostly just like a regular Python script. You've got loops inside here that look the same. You've got all this stuff that really just looks the same. The main difference is when you have a control statement, such as a for loop or a while loop or something like that, and an if statement, you got to have the ending here as well. So end for and end if. So I'd recommend taking a look at the site for Jinja. There's lots of other stuff you can do with it. You can declare variables and everything that you might need to do. All right. If you got any questions about Jinja or anything that I did in this video that you agree or disagree with, just leave some stuff down in the comments and I'll try and get back to you. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.